Oh my gosh, you're here.
Welcome to My Chatbot Life, where chatbot marketers share high converting strategies in this new conversational marketplace. Each week, MKJ introduces you to bot builders who are just like you, a little techie, a little markety, and a whole lot of geeky. Buckle up as Chatbot Mom enjoys another journey into My Chatbot Life.
Hey there, bot buddies. You know who I am, right? Mary Catherine Johnson. And I get to chat with John Bellamy, who is someone who also shared the stage at Conversations Conference 2019, and someone I was introduced to by John Preston, and just, all around bot guy, conversations guy. He's a guy that says he turns conversations into cash. So we're going to dive into that one a little bit because I want to do that. I don't know about you, but I do. So welcome to the conversation, John. How you doing?
I am great. Thanks for having me, Mary. I really appreciate it. Hey, everyone tuning in. It's going to be great. Now, I do have my ManyChat green tea mug. So
there you go. Yep. I had my coffee
ready
this morning. If I have more coffee, I'm in trouble. So, I'm bouncing off the walls even more. So I'll have my tea tonight in my nice little ManyChat mug. Yes. To warm me down and calm me down. Yeah, it's great. Wasn't that conference great? I mean, they do an amazing job, don't they?
Yeah, I speak at a lot of conferences around the traps, and I have to say that conference was very well done. Like even the tiny little things where they had just the banners plastered on the windows. I was like, who does this? This was great. Like you actually felt you were part of a community, which was awesome. So I already pre-purchased my tickets for next year.
How could you not at the price they offered it at the last one? I mean, come on. Exactly. I had personally a few snafus, to mill in. I had a couple of conversations, but that was just personally with me. I know that most everybody else had just an incredible time there. And I'm really glad that they did, because the previous year's conversations, that was a lot to live up to. I'm telling you, if you thought this one was good, did you go to Conversations 2018?
No, I missed that one.
I'm telling you. That had this conference had a lot to live up to. That conference was mind-blowingly, really community-driven, incredible, insane.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I had a pretty high bar that I was set. But hey, let's chat about what you do. So before we get into mindset shifts and business changes and all those things, I want to know what you were doing. Well, first off, I want to know how you connect LinkedIn and bots. Let's start there. And then I want to know what you were doing before you got into bots. So cool. LinkedIn and bots, what?
So LinkedIn and bots, there isn't a direct connection into the bots. Let's be clear, okay? From that. And there's a bunch of other things that, there's automation tools on LinkedIn and things like that LinkedIn really don't like you using. So where I come from, and this is what I spoke about at the conference, was how can we use, I use LinkedIn more so as that centerpiece for marketing. Like most of our clients, they're B2B services and all of that. So when chatbots and ManyChat come into it, it's more from a remarketing perspective. So we'll go, if we're reaching out and we're directly connecting with you as my key prospect on LinkedIn, then how can we, through our messaging and then follow up, how can we extract that data, create a lookalike audience or a Facebook audience, even a Google audience, and remarket to them through the platform. So that's what we want to try and do is let's go connect with them on LinkedIn, message them via email, follow up with chatbots as well. So that's we're trying to build that ecosystem.
Yeah, it's your main channel, it sounds like, and then you distribute throughout other channels.
Correct.
Got it.
And this is where everyone talks about connecting with your audience on the platform that they're on. So some will just want to be on LinkedIn. Some will just want to be on, on ManyChat. Some will just want to be on email. People will just call me. I
don't get that. I have one guy who's 70 years old. He's an amazing client, and he's in New York, and I know his phone number now because he only wants to call me.
Yeah.
He will never email. He will never leave a message. He'll call and wait for me to answer. And if I don't answer, then he'll just call several times in that day waiting for me to answer. I'm like, what the flip? Who does that?
I've just got to check my messages now.
Yeah, right. I know. No. Yeah. And then, so, wow, that's fantastic. All right. So before you got into this whole LinkedIn and your vertical and ManyChat and email and all that kind of stuff, what were you doing before chatbots entered your world?
Well, I've been doing this LinkedIn thing for over a decade now. It's coming on 12 years. So I've been doing that for a while, and doing all right in that area. But way back before then, I was in corporate, and always been in advertising marketing. So I've always been in that, having conversations with people, making sure there's a fit and helping them to buy whatever's going to be a benefit from that aspect. So from corporate, I when I started in the entrepreneurial journey, I created a recruitment company that focused specifically on the nonprofit sector. I had like a networking breakfast type business, like a BNI equivalent, on that. And then I also had a marketing company that was working with legal practitioners around that area. And what was great about it was pretty easy to build multiple six figures across each of the businesses. If I have a specialty, it's how do we go from 0 to multi six figures as quickly as we can. I know how to do that, just the dumb and boring stuff. But the challenge back then, this was stupid, John. Back then, like most people, they go, oh, I'm a guru. I can do everything to anybody. And all of these three companies didn't cross-pollinate. So I was literally working 7 days a week, probably 16 to 20-hour days some days, and just felt like crap. And I ended up shutting the whole stuff down, got divorced, and did all of that stuff. So
clean slate in one fell swoop. Just start over.
Just like start over. And my business coach at the time, he was essentially giving me the business coaching uppercut. Going, John, what are you great at? What do you do amazing things at? What's been the thing that has what's been that constant? And I'm like, well, I've been able to, connect with people, have a conversation with them, and help them, turn those conversations into cash. And for the most part, there's this thing called LinkedIn that I've been using since in corporate across all of these businesses. Why don't I people keep asking me, can you show me how to do it? So why don't I just do that? And voila.
The rest is history, as they say.
The rest is history. Yeah. And now we're incorporating chatbots and, chat marketing into the equation as well. So, yeah.
Wow. Fantastic. It's really
journey.
Yeah. But isn't that amazing? I mean, I'm sure you get this all the time too. Most people are saying, and you probably are supporting this to a certain extent. Many people are saying, oh, my audience isn't on Facebook. I don't want to use bots. My audience isn't on Facebook. But you're doing LinkedIn and incorporating chatbots as another communication channel. It doesn't mean you are doing all of your marketing through chatbots and ManyChat. You're doing email, you're doing LinkedIn, Sales Navigator, all these things. It's just another channel you're using for the people who choose to communicate there, right?
Correct. And this is what I say, because like what you mentioned before, my clients aren't on Facebook. I get that all the time. My clients aren't on LinkedIn. Yeah. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So I'll share this story real quick on it. I was speaking at a small chamber of commerce event on the north side of Brisbane a few years ago. And there was a guy who owns a tire shop, like a little mechanic, changes tires, does engine reconditionings and oil servicing and all that. Yeah. And he's like, John, I absolutely 100% agree with what you're saying about how I need to get my profile right, the message sequence, we've got to follow up. But my clients are not on LinkedIn. And I'm like, dumbfounded. And I'm like, sorry, so correct me, you run a tire shop? He goes, yeah. And I said, so is what you're saying that people who own businesses who are more likely to be on LinkedIn don't own cars? They don't drive anywhere. And then he was just like, I feel like an idiot. But people just don't click. They just, because they're not exposed to it. And then once he got it, he was like, oh my God, I have left so much money on the table from not leveraging this vertical. And that's where we come in. We're saying LinkedIn isn't for everybody, just like Facebook isn't for everybody. But if your market's there, let's see how we can engage with them. That's the only way you're going to know. It's marketing, test, measure, tweak.
Yep. You got it. Hear that, bot buddies. Test, measure, tweak. Do that over and over and over and over. And that is the staircase to success. Done. But you got to build it first. So build, then test, measure, tweak.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Got to get traffic. You can have the most amazing website, but if no one goes to it, what's the point?
Doesn't matter. Yep. That's right. Wow. Okay. So you've done quite a few different businesses, doing speaking, doing all those things. Let me just ask you real quick for a selfish reason, because this is something that I've been thinking about lately. How much business do you think you actually generate by speaking?
The majority. Yeah. Yeah.
Why
So
is
I've
that?
got stage times wealth time. Yeah.
Yes.
No one wants to get up there. So Conversations 2019, I had my little lead capture slide up there with the
scan code.
Something like that with the scan code up there. 208 opt-ins, and that slide was on the screen for less than 90 seconds. And we've done, I've more than recouped my investment on traveling over there. So it's been pretty good. But for us, it's speaking, like messaging. So LinkedIn messaging from that aspect. And they're the main two by far. And then 3 and 4 is probably a combination of paid ad spend and strategic partnerships.
Perfect. Yes. All right. So because I do masterminds with people who are trying to build agencies and grow their platform on Messenger. And so many of them look at this whole speaking thing as like, these people on stage are gods. How did they do that? And really, I have to have you hear this. Okay. Bot buddies in the audience listening. Even if you just start with some of the podcast interviews like this, or getting your face out there as an expert at what you do, that will return value to you beyond anything you can ever imagine. Because I can't tell you how many clients come to me before I even ask them, how did they find me? Which of course I do. They say, I heard you on Molly Pittman's podcast. I saw you at Conversations. I saw you here. I heard you there. All these things, social media marketing world, blah, blah, blah. And then they go to your site, and then they look at your content, and then they check out your bots. But it is one of the best performing validations that you know what you know when you actually speak in front of people, whether it's a podcast or on stage. And I get it. You don't want to start on stage. I get it. It's scary. It is definitely scary walking out to an audience. You're going to go through all the things in your head. What if I pee my pants, for criminy sakes, even though of course you won't? What if, I look terrible, or I've got something in my hair, or got, all those stupid things that go through our head that stop us from doing things. And who knows if you got something in your hair? Who cares? Get out there, do it. Because I'm telling you, it will return beyond anything you can ever imagine. And John just seconded it. So there you go. Do it.
I like all the what ifs. It's like, what if this happened? What if you just generated another $1,000, $10,000, $100,000 client? Damn it! I would hate
Darn.
that.
Isn't that just terrible?
Yeah.
Just so terrible.
People want to put money in my bank account.
How could that be? Oh no, I don't want to get on stage. That's just not for me. Oh yeah, get over
just
it.
Refer the stages to me. I'm happy. There you go. Let's go and do it. Yeah.
There you go. Definitely. And everybody knows I have no problem talking. So let's just, get this show on the road. Yeah. All right. So that's fantastic. And what I was really wanting to talk about and the reason I brought that up is because most people don't do that because they have a mindset issue. Just like you talked about, what ifs. So what's the biggest mindset the limiter that you have overcome that has led you to be able to grow these businesses so fast to multi-six figures?
Yeah, I think like for me, it was like the what ifs, like everybody else out there. It's like, it's that thing, oh, what if, and it's not, everyone talks about, the fear of failure or the fear of success and all of that. I think that's too big picture. And I think a lot of it, personally, I think it's a lot of BS.
Yeah.
It's I don't want to put myself there because what will people think of me? What will my peers think of me? I don't want to say that because I'll come across as a sleazy salesperson or all of those. So for me, where like the shift came was, well, what if I don't? And what if I don't do this? What's going to happen? Oh, crap. there's a lot of things there that will happen because, what if it actually did work? And that, I think that's for a lot of people, I think that's the big issue is like, what if I did go and jump on a podcast or did jump on stage and it actually worked and people wanted to do some stuff? So there's that whole imposter syndrome. And I believe, and this is, people can shout me down for this as much as they want, but I believe that imposter syndrome exists more often than not because people don't know who they are and they can't authentically be who they are on stage. They try and be Gary Vee, they try and be Tim Ferriss, they try and be Tony Robbins instead of just being you. And people are going to either like you or they don't. And honestly, I don't really care. It's not my concern what other people think of me. They're either going to extract value or they're not. And that's their choice. I can't give them value. They need to extract it. So let the audience make their decisions and away we go. But yeah, be authentic.
I agree 100%. I really, really do. And the scariest part is any kind of rejection. Of if we do put ourselves out as truly who we are. I mean, I say silly things. I have gray hair. I'm older than almost everybody in this world. And it doesn't matter if I know some 20-something person is looking at me going, oh, those wrinkles, or oh, what? That does not matter. If that's the place they're in, that's what they're seeing instead of what I'm saying and what a value I'm trying to give them. Hey, hopefully sometime in the future, they will get past that and be able to hear the value. Or even better, if I'm not the one that can impart that value for them, they will go somewhere else and find someone else who does. Yeah. That is absolutely fine. Yeah. And just to realize, to realize so anyone who's maybe rejecting me for that, they don't know me. They know what they hear in 5 minutes. They know what they hear in a half an hour conversation or a half an hour presentation. That isn't knowing me and rejecting me as a human being and who I am. They can't. They don't know me. They're not here having dinner with me with my family, playing, games or watching television. Those are the people who really know me. And if my husband said things like that to me, I'd be like, oh crap. Maybe I'm not the greatest person on the earth, but he doesn't say those things to me. So get over it. It's okay. There are going to be people who don't like you. There are going to be people who send you crappy, slimy, weird pictures in Facebook. But hey, you just don't look, or once you look, block it out of your head and block those people and move on with your day. And you're fine.
Yeah, 100%. And I think wrapping up, for me, it's you only need to know that one or two things better than the people that you're speaking to. That's all it is. I've started getting back into beach volleyball over the last 18 months, 2 years, and we've got our Masters competition on the weekend. And we've got 3 sets, 2 sets to 21, final set to 15. But literally all we need to do is make 2 mistakes less than our competition each set. That's it. 2 mistakes less. That's all we need to do. Doesn't matter how many mistakes we make or how many points we win. It's just if we just make 2 mistakes less than the people we're competing against, fantastic, we've won. Wow. And you're like, man, the pressure's just gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, it's not to be perfect or the best or this amazing new thing. It really is to be better than the person you're speaking to, just a couple notches that you know a few more things that they don't. And that is so easy in this chatbot world, people. That is so easy. You just go out into your backyard, go to any restaurant that you can throw a stone at, and they will have no clue anything about chatbots, anything about messenger marketing. They will have no clue. So you're not just 2 steps ahead, you are light years. So your biggest challenge there is going to be shutting your mouth and not allowing yourself to tell them all the fancy tech that they could do, right? Your biggest obstacle there is making it relevant to the value they need, to the transformation that they need for their business. How, like John says, conversations to cash. How is it going to put cash in my pocket? I don't care how fancy the tech is. What are you going to do for me? that's going to be your biggest challenge, not knowing just 2 steps ahead.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting thing, because I just had got off a call with a client in France before, and got other ones after this, and that whole strategy process. And I'm sure you would be exposed to this so much more with me, with your audience for the chatbots, but a lot of the people say, oh yeah, but we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. No one cares. So from a framework perspective, and I don't know if this helps or anything like that, but like if we're conducting a strategy call around LinkedIn or whatever it might be, we usually break it into 4 silos, and we ask the clients, like, what is it that you want? So future pacing them. What is it that you actually want? And we just keep them on track 3 years down the track. What is it that you want 3 years? Your life, your business, your profit, blah, 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 leads, what it looks like. What's it like now is the second track. And then if they go, oh, but because we want to get the distinct differences.
Yes.
Current, future pace. And then we can go, hey, well, in order from where you are now to where you want to be, these are the problems and challenges that we can see exist. So we've got the challenges, which is our 3rd column. And then the 4th column is, here's our recommendations and next steps. So here's what we think you can do to bridge the gap. Here's a couple of options from a next step perspective that you can do. Give them 3, like don't overwhelm them.
Yes.
You want to set up a chatbot. You need to get your welcome sequence or whatever it needs to be, like as a basic thing. And then it's like, would you like us to help you do that? And then shut up.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Shut up. Yeah. And that's, you notice, all those other 3 silos were all open-ended questions where you're asking a question and letting the client or the prospect talk. It's not a yes or no until you get to those last 2, right? Yeah. Then especially the last one. This is what you can do. Would you agree? Yes or no? This is also what you can do. This is your pain point and this is how you can fix it. Would you agree? Yes or no? Then the final one, would you like us to help you with it? Boom. Yes or no? They're not going to say no if they've been on the call with you and engaged for the last hour.
Yeah.
They're going to ask some questions probably. How much is going to be one of them, right? When, how long, all those kinds of things. And you're going to answer those things. Shut up. Answer the next one and shut up. And then say, great, when would you like to get started? I'll send you the contract today.
Card now, please.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, well, yeah. I leave that to my high ticket salespeople. Yeah. I don't ask for credit cards here because I have contracts first.
Nice.
But yes, same concept. You're going to get it done now. Wow. Okay. So that's an amazing mindset shift. That whole what if, that whole imposter. What about in business itself? Is there any specific difficulty or obstacle that you think by overcoming this particular obstacle, you really set yourself up for the next big thing?
Yeah. Most people aren't consistent. So you just need to be consistent. So consistent in marketing or advertising, like getting awareness, generating leads. I usually do 1 to 2 podcast interviews a week. Consistent. And I will pay people to put me on podcasts. It's a lead magnet.
Yep.
It's an investment. So it's consistency, follow up, actually follow up with people, not once. So if we talk LinkedIn for a moment, people are great at connecting. Then what? They don't do anything. They go to a networking function. They shake hands. They get business cards. Then nothing. So you've got to be consistent in the follow-up. And the third thing is out of all of this, you need to create a systemized process that ultimately you can put somebody else in to run, whether it's leveraging a system, human beings, whatever it might be. So, but it's the consistency of those 3 things which will make the winners, because it's not about we want to try and minimize the peaks and troughs. I would rather just have a consistent level with like little waves opposed to going.
Yes.
So if we're consistent in our outreach, consistent in our messaging, consistently testing, measuring and tweaking, you're onto a winner.
Yes.
It won't happen overnight, but it will happen.
Yes. Yes, again, 100%. They're again, the masterminds that I conduct with people and try and help them grow their agency businesses, or even the private consulting that I do with some clients. It really is the consistency that matters. So this is not rocket science. This is pretty simple stuff. You make calls or have conversations with people and you close new business. You have conversations with the right people. First, you have to find who those right people are. Then you have conversations with them. Then you close more business. And once you stop doing that and go, oh, yeah, I got new business. And now you switch over here and just start fulfilling it. And then you're done with the contract or you're done with the project and you look around going, oh crap, where's more business? So you have to, exactly that.
The consultant's curse.
It is. It's feast or famine. So you have to, every single day, some kind of outreach, whether it's coming in, and for my agency, I don't do any ads or anything like that. It's all inbound marketing that I use. And so every day I am having that inbound marketing. I'm having conversations with people who reach out to me from all of my different funnels that I have going on and different products and things that I have that people are talking about and I'm talking about on stages or in podcasts. And then they come to me and we have conversations, and that continues to happen. It doesn't stop. And then I've hired people to help implement those things so that I can focus on this. They focus on the fulfillment. We're happy and we grow. It's amazing.
Wins. Yeah, everyone wins. And I think just one more thing on that as well, because we're talking about marketers, right? Like a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
The biggest mistake outside of the consistency that I see is that people think that they have to work 100 hours a week. And so for me, like we went into laptop lifestyle because we wanted actually a lifestyle and a profitable lifestyle. Like you need to make money to, have a good lifestyle. But for me, one of the biggest missing links is that they go, like when I had my old coaching programs, pretty much nine times out of 10 people would go, and you could bet on it. It would be that consistent. I want to work 20 hours a week and make 200 grand a year. That's what most people would say 9 times out of 10. So if that's what you want, which is perfectly fine, because everyone talks about I want to be a millionaire, but they actually don't want to be a millionaire. They just want to make a couple $100 grand, which is perfectly fine. You can live a millionaire lifestyle on a couple $100 grand.
Yes. Not in California, but many other places. Yes.
Many other places. But if you want to only work 20 hours a week, set up your week so you are only working 20 hours a week. Like you need to, if that's what you're committed to doing and committing to building a business on, set it up that way. So you're only having calls at certain times, you're doing fulfillment, or you got your team doing stuff at certain times. And literally clock off when you hit that 20 hours. Mm-hmm. And you've got to do that consistently, because you've got to train your pattern to get the consistency. Okay, then if I'm only doing 20 hours work a week, where do I really need to focus that time to get the maximum outcome? And then what do I need to outsource? Who's my next hire? Who does that need to be? Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going on tangents now.
No, it's 100%. It's Parkinsons Law. I don't know if anybody's heard about that, but it's basically Parkinsons Law is that work expands to the time you allot for it. Mm-hmm. So if you have a week to finish a project, guess what? It's going to take you a week. If you say you only have 2 days to finish it, it's going to take you 2 days. It's going to expand to however long you give yourself to get it done. My son gave me this piece of advice. My son taught me this, not the Parkinson's, but what you just said. He's 21. He's got his own podcast editing business. He's a high ticket closer. He's doing great, amazing things. And I'm talking to him about, he's like growing his business. And he says, yeah, I'm probably going to have to get up earlier. And this is a guy who's 21. So it's, he's not getting up at 6 o'clock. Let's just put it that way. But he's talking about getting up earlier. And I'm like, well, yeah, you can just work more hours. And he goes, no, Mom, I really only want to work like 25 hours a week. And why can't I get it done and do the things I need to do in 25 hours? Why not be more efficient with my time and work less? I'm like, damn. Yeah. You're smart. I want to be you when I grow up. Yeah. It's totally, these youngins are teaching me a lot. All right. Yeah. So let's say way in the future, and Bot Buddies, I'm telling you, if you haven't gotten a ton of gold out of this thing yet, here it comes. So way in the future, because we're all going to live to 150 years old. I'm just totally convinced that that's the case. Someone is going to look back on Mr. Bellamy's life and write your biography.
Yep.
What would the title of that book be?
Get inspired, take action.
There you go. That's exactly what he's been talking about the whole time, folks.
Yeah. Whatever it is for you, like, I don't know, like whatever it is, just get inspired by something and go do it.
Beach
Stop
volleyball,
making excuses.
Right? Yeah. Go for it. Diving, scuba diving. I don't care. Whatever. Yeah. All right. And who would write that book?
I would actually love my daughter, who's 10 and a half now. Like that'd just, like, for me, that'd be awesome.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
My dad did this,
I know.
I thought it was cool. Yeah.
It's going to be so fun. She's going to do that. I'm telling you, my son just did a podcast interview himself, and he talked about what I helped him do. And it was just like,
yeah. I remember when I was just saying that, I remembered, I think she's in grade 5 now. So I think it was when she was in grade 2, they said to the, kids at school, tell us about your dad, give us 3 things about that. And she was like, my dad travels the world and speaks all the time. He loves going to the beach every day because we live like 200 meters away, and he eats chicken. That was I was just cracking up. I'm like, where did the chicken come into it?
It must have been you had chicken last night, and that was the last thing she could think of, right? Oh my gosh, how precious.
Yeah. Speaks around the world, goes to the beach, eats chicken.
Eats chicken. Well, there's your laptop lifestyle. There you go. She's got it.
Yeah, nailed me. Yeah.
So I don't think that's the answer to the next question, but there might be something else in there that does answer that question. And what would your daughter say is the quote that you actually lived your life by? And again, this is when your life is done, right?
Yeah.
What is the quote you have lived your life by?
Yeah, it's the title of the book. It's Get Inspired, Take Action, and yeah, it's the same thing. That's every day I speak to her because we're separated, families and all of that. So I speak to her via Skype or whatever every day, and it's like, what did you do today? Were you inspired by it? Did you take action? Or like, what are you doing? So yeah.
What do you think she's going to be inspired by? What is she inspired by right now that she's taking action on in her little life at 10 years old?
She loves slime.
Oh.
And YouTube, TikTok and YouTube, outside of sport and things like that are 2 big things. So she's always talking about, I just learned this new thing on TikTok, or I did this, or these girls who are doing slime. So speak a lot, which she comes with us sometimes when we're speaking. And we did a tour in Tasmania, down the little Apple Isle in the bottom of Australia in November. And she had a project that she was working on for school, which was learning how to use PowerPoint. Like, this was in grade 4 last year. They're using PowerPoint, which is awesome. Oh, yeah. So she took all these little videos and photos, and then we actually got her up on stage to go and run a 6-minute talk on what she'd learned in Tasmania and what she liked about it. So that was cool. But I think for her, it's really, like, she's so confused, like I think most 10-year-olds, because they're in that space of, I'm a little kid, but I'm now sort of becoming a teenager. What I want to do, there's all this pressure, all of that. But she loves like just interacting and doing that, and slime. So she's created a couple of Hannah's Slime-orama. We haven't put it on YouTube or anything yet, but she's like done a 15-minute video on making slime and the click test and all of this stuff.
Oh, how fun!
So I think she's just trying to find her way in the crazy world. Like, I'd hate to be a kid nowadays.
Can you imagine
coming through there? It's just out of control.
Yeah.
Like, geez, I was 10. I was hanging on the back of a milk truck delivering milk, so I can buy my bike, because Dad said, if you want a bike for Christmas, you got to pay for it yourself. So I went, okay,
did what you had to do. Yeah.
And then I went to the park and kicked the football. Whereas, they're sitting at home playing, what is it, Fortnite or Minecraft or something now.
Yes. It's crazy. Yeah. I know my son just got his driver's license, and we were talking about it, and we were talking about the whole, the tester, right, who gets in the car and they're just silent and they have their little clipboard and they're marking you off for things, right? And you're freaking out because they're not saying anything and just telling you where to turn and all this stuff. And I reminded him, I'm like, you can't believe this, but when I got my license, there wasn't even a law. We didn't even wear seatbelts.
Yeah.
So the tester had to dig the seatbelts out of the family car with all the Cheerio bits and chips and junk in there, and basically told me, I'm going to send you the cleaning bill for my suit. And I'm like, great, I'm really going to pass this test. Thanks a lot. And of course I didn't, but it wasn't because of that. It was because I couldn't back up the dang car. But anyway, I learned how to do that. I've got my license. It's okay. Life is good. But yeah, their life is completely different from ours, isn't it?
So different.
Yeah.
So different.
And it's not that long ago. I'm not 100, right? So it's not that long ago.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. Well, John, I really, really appreciate this time that you've spent with me. I can't wait to stay connected and check out what you're doing on LinkedIn. I know there's a link that we're going to put in the show notes to give some free content and free training on what John does and how this whole thing works. So check out the show notes at messengerfunnels.com in the podcast area, and you'll be able to get that. And but in the meantime, I can't wait to stay connected. I really enjoyed this chat.
Awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on board today.
Thanks for listening to the My Chatbot Life podcast. To watch this video chat, visit mychatbotlife.com and get all the rocket boosters you need for your own chatbot success.